Hi all. This is the Silhouette Tree in the Moonlight card that I'm about to show you now. As you can see, there's a die cut tree and branch stuck on there. This is a sticker. This little bit of detail here and the birds are drawn on with a marker. Permanent marker, black. Inside, I have just glued some black card and some white card so that you've got a surface to write on that's white. So the first thing you do with this card is to take your A5 sheet of paper and fold it in half. I've already pre-scored this, which gives me a much nicer fold, and then I score along the fold line as well, just to give me a nice sharp fold. The next thing I do is take the black cardboard that's in your kit and tape it and take the tape off, or you could glue it. Now as you can see, I've got tape all around the edge, and then I've got a little bit of tape in the middle, and that allows me to position the black, push in the middle, and get it to stay still while I lift the other pieces of tape backing. And always make sure you push it down once you've removed that so that it will adhere properly. There we are. Now we'll adhere the white piece in the centre of that. Not doing it the right way this time, am I? I'm not doing it again. Okay. Take all the tape off this time and see how well I do. Got to be really careful when you do that. Not the best, but not too bad. Okay, there we are. Now on the front, we can put the black piece like that. Not wanting to lift this time, is it? Just bring it up a little bit so that you've got enough room to put your greeting at the top and have the tree sticking down a bit at the bottom, so roughly in the middle. Okay, and then you could also add your greeting stickers at this point too if you wanted to. I'm going to put them at a slight angle this time. It's easier if you're not trying to make things perfectly level, and it's easier if you stick your sticker to something so that you can see what you're doing. Your hand, if your hand's holding it, your hand gets in the road. So, I'm not happy with that. I can lift it up again because I haven't pushed it down hard. I want to make it at an angle like that one, slightly. Let's try again. There. Okay, there we are. Now this sticker had a couple of stars on it, so I might use those as well. Completely your choice there, whether you use those or not. But as you can see, there's a little star on the end of the eye, so it all matches nicely. Now that's as much as I'm going to do to the card to start with. The next thing I need to do is this background here. So first of all, I take a scrap of paper and a circular bottle, any object, or a circular punch or a circular die. Now if I've got a bottle or a shape like that, I can draw a circle and cut it out. If I've got a punch or a die, I can just directly cut it out. So this is just a scrap of paper, and I've already pre-cut one ready for this. And I take a piece of washi tape, I peel just a small piece off, and I turn it over backwards so that the sticky side is facing outwards, and I form a little circle, and I put it on this, and then I take my piece of cardboard and I'm going to position this just a little bit to the right and up a little bit from center. So this is not dead center, the moon is off to one side. And then I take some Distress Oxide. Now this color is Dusty Concord, and it quite matches this paper quite nicely, but you wouldn't know from looking at the front of the front of this or from the inside. But when you turn it over, you can see what sort of color we get from it, because I've put a sample on the back. Now I've also got a sponge dauber, and what I'm going to do is put some ink onto the dauber, pounce it onto the silicone mat. I've got a silicone mat here that protects the surface, and then just lifting this slightly, I'm going to come over the edge and sponge along that edge. I can keep going back and lifting that ink until I run out. And the further you get in, the lighter it should get around the moon. You don't want it the dark color around the moon. You want it dark on the edges. And you can build that up slowly, but when you get to the moon, you just want it lighter around the moon. Now when I've done that side, I'm going to turn it, and the reason I'm turning the paper is it's easier to get a good finish if your hand is comfortable with what you're doing. And so my hand is not going to be comfortable twisting around here. My hand is comfortable here, so why not twist the paper and keep your hand comfortable? You'll do a much better job. Never go straight onto the cardboard, because it'll leave a dark stain that'll be hard to sponge out. And keep your fingers on top of that paper so it doesn't lift, because it's only very lightweight, and the sponge can easily lift it when you hit the edges with the sponge. Now I might just go and get quite a little bit darker edge on it now, just to build up a bit of dimension and make it a bit more interesting. Okay, now that's enough sponging, and what I would do now is wipe off any excess on my silicone mat so that I don't get it onto my card, and remove my mask. That's called a mask. It's protecting the area underneath, and there's your moon. Now all you have to do now is glue this onto the black section, leaving a border. I'm doing it again, aren't I? The wrong way. I'll move this one first. I'm going to put this on so that you've got a border top and bottom, but not on either side. See that? Just push it in the middle wherever the tape is, and I'm just going to then lift these edges and peel off the tape. Now that that's done, we can add the tree. Now this tree is actually from this die. You see that? And it actually calls it coral. And now when you look at it, it's coral, it's not a tree. But I wanted a tree with a long trunk. So all I did was snip off the lower pieces. Doesn't matter whether you get it even or uneven, because a trunk wouldn't be even anyway, it would be uneven. So I just snip off those lower branches, and there I have my tree ready to be placed on my card. And you just position it wherever you think it should go. Now, all I used was a very fine tipped glue. And the one I'm using today is Glossy Accents. And because it's got a nice fine nozzle, I can just put a little line of glue along the main branches only. I'm not going to worry about all those little other ones. And I'm not worried about getting it exactly on every section. Just enough to stick it down, because it's very lightweight and it's not going to resist being stuck down. So you don't need every section with glue on it in order to keep it down. Plus, the more glue you put on, the messier it's going to get. So now, just position your tree where you want it to be, and then carefully tap your branches into place. Now, I felt that with this one, it needed a bit more in the sky. And so I just fiddled with it until I was happy with what I thought would look good. And in this case, I don't think it needs as much. So I'm just going to put just a little bit coming across there like that. And you can cut off the excess that sticks out from the edges after you've put this on. There we are. And as you can see, there's a little bit sticking over the edge there. If I turn it to the back, it's much easier to see what's poking through, and just cut it straight along so it no longer pokes out. Alright, now last thing I want to do to this is, the tree looks like it's floating in mid-air. So I'm just going to scribble with a marker and make it look like it's got a little bit of ground there. And I'm going to put a few little bits of blades of grass coming up in the air in a couple of different spots. And there we've now got a little landscape. But you need to add life to your pictures, and the only thing that adds life is something living. So I'm just going to add a couple of little curved V's which look like birds to the sky, and you can add them anywhere you want. So there's our two cards, slightly different but both quite cute and very easy to make. I hope you enjoyed that. As you can see, we've got our piece to write on inside. That's a quick card, and you could use all sorts of silhouette dies or stickers or stamps with this card in order to get this effect. You could change up the colours. You could change the shape of the moon. It could be you know, a half moon, not a full moon. It could be coming up from the horizon with you know, lemons and yellows and oranges and reds radiating out from it. You can play around with this design quite a lot to get a lot of different effects. You could probably get 20 different cards using all the same materials. Maybe just change the colour of your die, colour of your card, and the different shapes of your silhouettes. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. Bye for now.